everyone. Truthfully speaking, I just saw this on the group this evening and I joined, so I'm glad to be here. I work with Fathom Associates. We do financial literacy, we do accounting, we do accounting software for SMEs. That's some of you that have businesses where you need accounting software, you can come. We have a new software that we are launching that is web-based and browser-based. So yeah, basically that we do tax, we do strategic planning, and a lot of other things. I'm glad to be here. I'm looking forward to what is going to be shared. Thank you.
Aisha, you muted.
Yeah, saying David can go next. I see Edward is not unmuting. David Mugisha, then we shall have Daniel flag us off and the session will start as we remind our other colleagues to join. David and then Daniel. Yes, David?
Hello.
Hi.
David Mugisha here. I normally co-host the trainer roundtable with the headmaster, but considering today that he's being hosted, I'll be listening in.
Do you have any expectations? So that he's on the hot seat tonight. So I would like to know if you have any expectations so that we see how to meet them.
Well, all the questions will be channeled to him, so the expectations are high.
Okay, thank you, David. Daniel, please flag us off so that we can start.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Daniel, loud and clear.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Aisha and Apollo. My name is Daniel Ayebari, and I chair the Uganda Financial Literacy Association. We are an association body that brings together financial literacy trainers across the country, purposely to coordinate and provide financial literacy for all individuals. So I am very happy for this session. I know it is intended to empower us as financial literacy trainers. And I want to thank NSSF in particular for helping us to host this as our partners. So I officially flag it off. Aisha, I hope I've said enough.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are so happy for the support you also give to us in return. We don't take it for granted at all fronts. Yeah, so feel free to remind our fellow trainers to join, but I guess we shall start. It's already 12 minutes past. You're most welcome. Good evening to everyone. I would like to let you know that this platform will be happening every last Friday of the month. Time consideration, we shall run a poll to see if the time is favorable or not. But for now, we had to start with what we had and we had to kickstart it. The purpose of these engagements for financial literacy trainers, which I hope other trainers in other fields probably later on as we grow our momentum, they will also join us, is to just have conversations, because as trainers, we go out there and speak to people and sometimes we never get the feedback we require, or we never even get someone to check us and see, but the things we are training or the way we conduct ourselves, is it actually relatable to the messages that we send out to our people? So these conversations or this chat, it's like a fireplace of sorts where we come together as just trainers. And we know we have the common challenges, we have common opportunities, similar things. We have so many similarities, things that are binding us, but also things that differentiate us. So those are the unique things that bring us together every Friday, last Friday evening of every month. Yeah, so we've hosted a number of trainers before. We've hosted Newton, Boterava, we've hosted Miss Joanne Mugenzi, we've hosted Coach Marjorie Nantambi. And when you see the caliber of people we are bringing on board every other month, we are not saying, in our perspective, these are people who have who we are looking up to in the industry. More and more trainers are coming up by the day, and as the months go on, we shall have them on this platform to see how they are doing it. But we also have a vision that beyond Uganda, there are other trainers doing the same things we do. So we shall also go on a hunt to search for them so that we also have them come on board. Yeah, so this evening, we are privileged to have the headmaster of the financial literacy school. I don't know if it's at NSSF or in Uganda. He'll be able to tell us. But what I know about the headmaster is that he has really pushed the financial literacy agenda in this country on many fronts. And he has a very big desire and heart to see that trainers come on board and are supported. Working side by side with him at the NSSF where I work, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Aisha Nakanwaji. I'm a financial educator and trainer at NSSF Uganda. Yeah, so Apollo has done a lot of trainings for members of NSSF, but also many Ugandans at large. He's currently working as the mass education and financial literacy manager at NSSF. He will tell us more about what mass education is and what his role and his purpose is and what he wants to accomplish before we take over his job in the coming years, I know. So Apollo, you're most welcome. Feel free to add on to your bio. The people are so eager to hear from you. We are recording this, so we'll be able to disseminate it to the other trainers who are not here. Apollo, please.
Thank you, Aisha. Thank you so much for this opportunity. You've said what you know about me, and I will not dispute it. But allow me to just there's a reason when it clocked 7, I told you let's start, because I knew that people who needed to be here are the ones that are here. So allow me to just just recognize, because this financial literacy thing, before you heard of Headmaster, there was an Esther Cassidy. She was already out there doing things. I think when we met, when I was in my previous employment, I picked one of parts of my foundation from her delivery. When you talk about Stephen Luyonjo, he has been in the trenches of this financial literacy thing. So for me, I'm in a privileged position. I think I want to start my whole bit by not introducing myself, but introducing the foundation on which I have laid. That Daniel himself there is the man who actually does a lot of heavy lifting in this industry. It's a whole industry that we have not fully taken it where it needs to be, but he is doing the heavy lifting. I normally do that taking of the credit in parts over there, but that's the foundation. And of course, that young man, Mr. Mugisha, David
Mr. Mbowa, are we losing you, or is it just me?
I think it's breaking. Maybe you can switch off the video. Just sometimes it slows down the data.
Let's get him back on board. He had actually connected 2 devices just in case one. Apollo, you back?
Of
Yes, as Apollo sorts out here. Apollo, we can see your back. He's joining back in. Sorry for the mishaps. They happen. I see he's trying to join again so that he can continue with his submission. Let's just give it a second. So as Apollo comes back on board, I would like to welcome the other members that have just joined in. Please feel free to remind your other colleagues who you know are in the same industry or practice so that they can come on board. We are just starting. We started with introductions with the first members that were on board. And now we are going to open. We had started the session with Apollo Mbowa, who is the Financial Literacy and Mass Education Manager at NSSF. Apollo, are you able to proceed? Okay.
Sorry. Just help me make Fiona Tukunda panelist so that if I get off this network, I can quickly switch on to the other one. Just confirm you can hear me.
I can hear you now.
Okay, thank you so much. Apologies for that network. So I think I had done a bit of introduction. I think I got off somewhere, but I was just telling you that what you see about Headmaster is a culmination of so many other persons who have seen doing things, who have seen passionately devote themselves to this financial literacy industry. And I just see an opportunity on how, where else can I just tap in and make a living of it. So back to you.
Thank you, Apollo, for that. I'd like to start off the discussion by I want to humanize you. When we look at you, Apollo, we'll see a very perfect trainer. Yeah, you have the following, you have the content, you've put everything together. Apollo, please walk us through your journey. We want to connect with you as a human being now, because when we look at you, we find you very extraordinary. How did your journey begin? And what moments have you had in your journey that made you realize that financial literacy is it your calling? And according to you, what values or experiences have shaped your approach to financial education from where you sit and from what you've done so far at NSSF and beyond?
Thank you, Aisha. And one thing you'll understand is when all of us were growing up, at least for us, we are growing up, there wasn't a profession called financial literacy expert, financial planner. So all of us wanted to become pilots, wanted to become doctors, we wanted to become so many things. I don't know what Daniel wanted to become, but here we are find ourselves that we are now in the financial literacy industry. For me, even when I was beginning, I just mentioned a few names. This is just among a vast of names of seeing people do certain things, and those things actually shape your way of life. When I talk about Esther, when I talk about Daniel, when I talk about, I'm coming to Benoni, and I need to give him that special bit. But it's been a series of things. I don't want to lie to you that I was intentional from the beginning. I did this, but the way the world shaped itself in my career journey just shaped me into delivering myself in this particular sport. I started off my career in, of course, before even getting into employment, I was in a lot of very many hustles, transport, I was in trade, I was in so many things at campus, right through campus, photocopying and all that. Then come my first formal employment, I went into insurance. I was in insurance. I did that for about 2 years. Then I went into about 2 years. Then I joined banking. I did banking for 2 years, which which I thought I was leaving one bank to another bank only to reach that bank, and they tell me there is another industry called investment management. So when I left KCB and went to Stanbic, I thought I was joining Stanbic, but I found myself joining Stanbic Investments. So it gave me exposure to investment management, a whole new world. I did that for 6 years, and that sort of solidified me putting my investment, my insurance knowledge, my banking knowledge, and now investment management knowledge, gave me a footstool. That's where I met the likes of Esther, who are now doing, while I was doing investment management for entities, I got to meet the Esthers who are doing it for individuals. They, allow me, Esther, to say this, they were my clients, but they also had this part about them. They had been in banking and now they had said, no, we need to look at the persons as persons. So it just gave me a tweak of personal finance. And I remember forming myself around everything to understand about personal finance. Why are we? It's a neglected field. And doing that, I decided while I was at Stanley to use that as an opportunity to sell my product. So I would go to people to tell them about their personal finance, and after they ask me, what can we do? And I would tell them, you can buy a product from me. And I kept doing that until someone at NSSF said, by the way, this is something that we need to do for our members. So I was taken into NSSF to actually start personal finance as an entity, as a standalone. And for me, all this has been a journey. And while I get there, I even get more schooled. But allow me, before I even get into this, I just want to share this exciting moment. Over the last probably 24 months, a lot has, while I thought we are perfecting this financial literacy thing, I got exposed to technology. Now, technology is one of those exciting things that I have found that are reshaping this whole entity. While I thought we are articulating and understanding all this, then there comes technology, where you can, there comes AI. I say this because I asked Benoni. Benoni is he's the chief technology officer at NSSF. Chief technology officer means you are in charge of all the technology. But in the last 24 months, we've been interfacing with him and his unit on what we should do as financial literacy. I was in just, I think it should have been May. I represented NSSF in Mexico. We're doing the international network of financial educators. And the world has moved on from just the way we understand personal finance to what can we use technology for. So I thought before I even say all these things, I need to just expose, especially for the benefit of the persons that I see here, Luyonjo, Esther, Daniel. I just needed to expose you to a person like who for me by default, I have access to, just to tell you about how technology is shaping this industry. Then I will come back and just loop myself in and I tell you what amazing things. Why I thought it was important is one of the things that's just delivered for me is a chatbot. A chatbot with an aging future, meaning that I can take Daniel's photo right now and I tell him this is what you look like at 60. And once you have tapped into the psyche of a person, personal finance becomes easy. They actually start visualizing themselves and they let you in and they say, please tell me about what do I do? What will I do when I reach this point? How can I do it? But I don't want to talk about this when the chief technological officer is here. Benon, kindly if you could use 5-6 minutes and just tell them the opportunities as financial literacy educators, financial literacy practitioners that we have to, that will crisscross with technology and how we can make this better and how you look at us. Benoni also came to me, allow me to just say this. He came to me at one time and said, you know, you can deliver a class using SMSs. I looked at him and I thought he was crazy. But guess what? We are going ahead to deliver something like that. Benoni, kindly, these financial literacy trainers, and they would like to just hear a little bit about your technology side, then they can get back to my boring side. Kindly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mbowa. Thank you for putting this together. It's really flattering to be part of stalwarts like yourself, like Esther, stalwarts of financial literacy. I first met Esther in Stanbic Bank, and since then she's been passionate, not just about financial literacy, but everything about development. And it seemed like a natural transition to go into financial literacy. So it's a pleasure and good to connect with you, Esther, once again. I'm passionate about everything technology because technology has what I call a multiplier effect. It has the ability to do what 1,000 people can do in a fraction of the time that it takes them to do. It also has the ability to reach people who are not viable to be reached in the way that traditional institutions reach up to them. So if you look at financial literacy in the traditional mode, and again, that has also evolved over maybe a physical classroom, maybe a certain type of print and radio media, and it may be a webinar. So you find that the reach is great as it is, cannot compare to what advanced technology about what AI can do to foster financial literacy. I've seen examples out there which are very fascinating. I'm glad you've talked about the SMS bit. I visited a company in Kenya, and it was working on a grant, was working under a grant from one of those bigger donor agencies. And it was fascinating that they could actually deliver a whole financial literacy lesson on a key topic like budgeting, like saving, like investment through timed SMS messages. And that content wasn't just a broad content of copy paste and simply translated to a different media, but it was tailored to the type of person, the examples, the language, the timing of that delivery. It shows the amount of data and planning that went into that delivery. So technology is really the way to go because it opens up frontiers that were not possible. If you look at the world of machine learning and AI, the example that Mr. Mbowa talked about, it is fascinating how a few bits of information here and there about a person, like how many loans do you have, how what's your family situation like, what's your income like, how old are you, what's your demographic, and etc. That can be churned into a full financial profile that gives up-to-date advice, that gives a distinct advice to an individual on how to better manage their finances. It is also fascinating because we as human beings, we cannot condense all the information there is in the world or even remember. We typically remember less than 25% of all our interactions. But with technology, all of that can be condensed. So the chatbot that my colleague talked about is tailored to the Ugandan context, and it can tell you that these are the industries where we see growth. This is what to the detail of this, the budget that you need. These are the technicalities in terms of what do I need about feeds, about animal care, if that's your industry. What routines do I need to keep? And all of that is because it's harnessing the knowledge and information from everyone that has been in that industry, so that people get to learn from history, but in a condensed and a way that is nuanced, or the way that is tailored to them. So I'm proud of that and look forward to opportunities to see how do we take the knowledge of the collective, apply technology to that, and expand its reach. So happy to be here and hoping we can discuss that further. But back to you, Mr. Mbowa.
Thank you so much. I just thought it was important. And when you talk about when Aisha, I know, asked me to humanize myself, but for me, I think the basic bit about me humanizing myself is going through a series of the persons that are behind what I do. So I just thought for Benon it was key that it talks about me, but talks about this, and that part is when you see Headmaster, there is a lot of technology also happening in the background because thanks to people like that. But to give you a nutshell, Aisha, that has been the journey up to where I am has been through entrepreneurship, insurance, banking, um, investment management, pension management, and now uh, financial planning and financial advisory that we do full time, assisted by your able hands. Aisha should also tell you that she's one of the brains behind everything you see at NSSF. So that's basically me. And on the other side, entrepreneurship has not gone away. I am still doing quite a number of hustles thanks to my other arm through my wife. So that still happens with me. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Benoni, for giving us the technology universe. We believe we are going to do so many amazing things together with the Financial Literacy Association plus NSSF at large to see that these messages and this content gets down to the people with minimal effort and with a less manual processes. Apollo, going back to your journey, you did investment, you've been in banking, you've been in entrepreneurship, but now relating it to financial literacy, education, and all, the qualifications part, I see that most of us, and from the previous guests we had, there is a tendency of the trainers or many of us clinging onto the certification that we got from Bank of Uganda, which is still opening so many doors for us. We can attest to that. But beyond the certification, are there any other trainings or skillings that you think or you can recommend or that you think have made you who you are that you would like to let us know about so that we broaden this whole agenda and universe so that we can compete favorably, but also create trust in the clients we serve? Is beyond skilling, is there anything you would like to add to that?
Oh yes, yes, and I think I need to just flip your question because it's not beyond skilling. Because you sort of think that skilling comes first, then qualify. I think skilling is everything. Qualification is just it's just a paper. Uh, Everyone here thinks when you're a bank, we have about 2,000 persons who have that 5-day certificate from Bank of Uganda, and all of a sudden you think you are a financial literacy practitioner. Now, you actually do not need that. That one is just to validate certain things. Your skilling, it is the skill that you require. Have you skilled yourself in certain things? And I need you to understand that skilling is not necessarily being an expert, but it is practicing certain principles, and you are not even going to be perfect at them. You will talk about budgeting. You sometimes, as financial literacy trainers, we present ourselves as perfect. You are actually may not be perfect at any of these things, but you are aware. The bedrock of financial literacy, it comes in knowledge, in behavior, in attitude. So for me, if you're asking me what are those other trainings, the training of behavior is daily. The training of knowledge is daily. We are 2,000 persons who received this particular SMS and this particular invitation. There are about what, 12 people on this call. That is the pursuit of knowledge. So while people they already have the Bank of Uganda certificate, but they don't have the knowledge. We keep sharing knowledge here. We are sharpening each other here. So knowledge, behavior is daily. Attitude is a daily is also a daily thing. But to just, if you want a bit of qualifications and certifications, Daniel is busy working on a more superior certification, one that requires, will actually test you on knowledge and behavior. It will test you on attitude. It's not just 5 days. You can do it for as long as you can because it tests different things, which is called the Certified Financial Planner. I highly recommend that, and it is going to be really, really, really customized. But outside that, you have the Bank of Uganda, you have the behavioral finance certification. There is a CCFFI. I think it is consumer something. I know Esther. Is it Esther? Esther has that one. Uh, I highly recommend that people do a CPA, a CTA, either CPA, CTA, CFA, insurance certificate of proficiency in insurance, fundamentals of investments. That one you can find in the CFA Society. Those are good foundations for knowledge. Now, even if your behavior and attitude are lacking, but when you have that solid knowledge, and then you can now pick out and specialize. Joan is specializing in coaching. I know Esther is specializing in the corporate and informal certain sector. I know Daniel is passionate about his is more of a front office thing. I myself, my specialization is going down to behavioral behavioral economics, financial behavioral finance, and financial psychology. Then you can go in deeper into understanding those things, and then you can. I know Aisha. I can speak about Aisha because she has also done the Empretech. She has done. She has done another one by UN. Those are all now start opening you up in the different fields. But outside this, I just think before you settle into the qualifications, just ask yourself, where am I on the behavior side? Where am I on the attitude side? Where am I? I don't need to be perfect, but I need to be aware. Back to you.
Thank you, Apollo. I feel like that was very extensive. And when you talk about specialization, it came out clearly, even with Joanne in her previous interview. She advised that we need to focus. She says she has focused on the corporate person. Someone else can focus on the grassroots. Someone else can focus on women, others men. Yes, I think it's very important as trainers for us to specialize. Yeah, but Apollo.
Maybe Aisha, let me just interrupt you a bit. Let me just read you another list of designations that are out there. I am affiliated to the College of Financial Planning, but they have things like accredited asset management specialist, accredited domestic partnership advisor. This is just someone for couples. That's more of a marriage counselor, but financial side. Accredited portfolio management advisor, wealth management advisor, retirement planning counselor, retirement planning specialist, chartered counselor, financial para planning. This is now for more on the legal side. Sports and entertainment wealth management advisor, wealth management specialist. There are quite a number. CFP, CFA. The list goes on and on and on and on about when it comes to this. But for me, don't even start picking up the courses to start doing these courses if you have not articulated yourself as the person. I think the person is more. I'm even looking for more here. There's so many master plan, advanced studies. There's so many, and this information you can find at the UFLA. We have it at the UFLA offices. You can just basically have these resources, but first work on yourself as a person. My apologies for interrupting.
Well, Apollo, that was amazing and interesting because it's very easy for us to think that qualifications will open the doors, but in our profession, I think the behavior part takes precedence. Yeah. Then, Apollo, I want you to let us know, like Benoni said, technology is advancing. And from the previous meeting we had with the trainers at, I think, Africana, the think tank conference, we had a coach who came in to talk about visibility and how trainers are doing a lot of work. I can testify. I myself am doing a lot of work, and I believe other trainers are, because recently Maria sent me messages. She was in the West. She wanted this. But when people send you these messages, they're actually doing the work, but we are not seeing it. Like when you go to Maria's page, I don't know if Maria, that work is there. Luyonjo has done lots of work for us at NSSF, but I feel like the visibility of our work is not out there. But Apollo, for you on the other hand, we have not seen you come out that Apollo, you have a TikTok page and you're there talking, but for some reason your visibility has sprung up. Okay, from where you sit, I know that some of the channels have promoted you, but above all, Apollo, what has helped you stand out and build the influence that you have in this space? Because you're actually commanding a lot of influence in the space currently.
So when you talk about, that's now your opinion, influence and everything, for me, when I wake up in the morning, I wake up to deliver a service I am paid to do. But also for me, it's not just about the pay, it's because I have been given this assignment. Now, when I'm given an assignment, regardless where it was, no one knew about Headmaster before NSSF. But when you go back and ask the Esters, I was also extremely I don't want to use the word popular, extremely, I don't know what the word, but when I was in the investment management world, I was on top of my game. For me, it's business as usual for me to do the best. Excellence is what I do best. But also I share a philosophy that where I am best, it's best for me to work with numbers. So you probably, as financial literacy professionals, if each of us is doing something for ourselves, we have failed to actually come and coordinate. Some of us think that if I come together with other people, I'll lose this work. There's enough work for all of us. So you will have everyone doing something, but no one, you are not getting anywhere. The way I have done it, and you would see what you are calling that I have visibility and everything, are things that Daniel was doing in Masaka recently. And we asked him to go and do something in Masaka. I am getting the credit. Mr. Luyonjo is with so many people within so many workplaces. I will get that credit. When you learn to work with other people, you will actually get the credit due to you and back to you. All us as financial literacy educators are trying to hustle or to get there before someone else gets. Oh, this is my space, let me take over this space, by everyone to get in. And that is us pushing ourselves downwards. For me, I've learned to work with, I think I keep saying this, and the ladies, I call them the ladies, the ones I work with, they know this, that my best specialty is knowing who does what. Not me doing, but me knowing who does what. And when I bring you the person who does something better than me, believe me, you don't even look at that person. You will always look at me to look for the next person who is better than me in another thing. So for me, it's about collaboration and understanding that the cake is big. That's why we are doing this as UFLA. Why wouldn't, I don't know who you said, which name, why wouldn't we have, you are the director of research and all this, why aren't we having that particular one place where each of us can point and can tell people what I am doing, and also call up people to come and support them. Say, I have this training, I need one of the UFLA people, please come in and support me. And we get to do this together. Also, you, when you are called to support, why are you getting there to that person's client and then starting to have background conversations and say, whether I can do it cheap and better? Those are things that are getting us not to really move forward. In my own assessment, and it's a discussion that can go on and on, but for me, working with others, recognizing what all the others can bring on table, has helped me actually have more mileage than working alone and try to. I don't have I have a TikTok account, but I have never posted a TikTok video. But I have seen my TikToks or TikToks of me go up to 7 million people, because someone will get what you want and you will be compelled to keep pushing it on. As FL people, we want to be everything. There's the reason why I brought in Benoni here, because he's the technology man. I can't be the person doing content, doing understanding this, and then being the one to do the technology, keep on this. I also have a family. I will not get far, but just work with the entire universe.
Thank you, Apollo. Your network was quite derailing towards the end, but
I don't know if we have lost our normal yeah.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, we can.
Apollo, that was well said. Collaboration, and we can never overemphasize collaboration in our field, because, like we say, you can't have a session and you're going to do everything by yourself. So Apollo, like we already said, you have a lot of influence in this space, and I know that there are tables or there are rooms you've been in, and there are many things that you know that we may not know. From where you sit, are there things you see or you know that you feel as trainers we need to know? Because from your point of privilege and influence, I know there are rooms you're in and spaces you're in, and there are things you know that you would like to share with us that maybe we are not privileged to know as trainers, and they might be beneficial to our progress and our agenda as financial literacy trainers for Uganda and the nation at large. And on top of that, Apollo, I would like to also know from where you sit. I know you're always looking out for trainers, and where you sit at the fund, I know that the vision is getting bigger. We have a mandate of almost 15 million Ugandans to be recruited by a certain period of time. And I know as we go ahead, we are going to need trainers on board. So from where you sit, what qualities or what traits would you be looking for in a trainer, so that as we sharpen ourselves as trainers, we position ourselves for the future, because we know that opportunities are starting up to arise. The world is opening up, and financial literacy is being very accepted now, because people have learned that they can't actually manage their money on their own. And with the awareness we've done so far, we have set ground for trainers and for future consultations to come in. So from where you sit, what do you know that you all see that we need to know? And what would you be looking for if you were to take on trainers? Because from where you sit, I know you have that privilege to get some of these people on board. Yes, Apollo, you unmute.
Thank you again, Aisha. But as I answer that, let me also just, yes, I'm muted.
Yeah,
Are you able to hear me?
we can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
But before I answer that, Maria here is saying visibility for some of us is not there. And I'm saying, Maria, that's the reason we have this. And I want to challenge you, because we have called out before, we have even put up a fee as Wolfland. We said, anyone who wants to work with the Coach Marjorie, anyone who wants to work with the Joan, please, anyone who wants to work with Newton, just to share the same stage, please come through. We will even pay you. They didn't come through. People didn't come through. So visibility is, the opportunities for visibility are there, but you need to grab them. I mean, we can only do so much. So Maria, kindly take bid. At NSSF, we would want to work with you, but we haven't seen you come. The password is say I am a UFLA member. We will embrace you, because we want to push you to the next level. So that, for me, I don't think I can find that as it's not an excuse. There is a lot of opportunity. Where I sit, I have as you said, I have the privilege of being in a fund that manages 26 trillion. As of Friday, it was 26 trillion. But I also have gotten the chance. Daniel wrote a letter for me to represent Uganda in OECD, INFE. I did this year, and the discussions are happening. One of the things you need to understand is Uganda, we are moving at a trajectory where people are becoming mindful, because before, your money would speak to your pastor, your money would speak to your sister, your money would speak to your your to another rich person you know about, or your brother. You ask them, I have some command, what can I do? But as we go on, people are beginning to increasingly begin to understand that my money needs to speak to a profession. In Uganda, we have more billionaires. I'm talking about hard cash. I'm not talking about the people who have inherited land, who have inherited square miles of land. We have more people who are billionaires, and they have billions in cash, and they would like to understand, what options can I have? Now, that is the field financial literacy experts need to be playing in. Personal finance, marriages, as people get cancelled into marriages, their reference are talking about their money. They're talking to them about money. But that's the field we need to be in. So there's quite a huge opportunity. But remember, That opportunity is not for that person who speaks the loudest, who is because they can do a gig here, they can do a TikTok here, there's something there, something there. It needs people who are actually skilled. So as we talk about these opportunities will show you as the further and further you get skilled. If you get into the investment management world, you will actually see there are quite a number of opportunities in there. You may not see the opportunities if you are just still on the surface of the Bank of Uganda certificate. You may not see the opportunities. Aisha will tell you that because she's an Empretech right now, she was forced. Aisha, allow me to just share this with the people, because she is an Empretech. She got skilling in entrepreneurship. She was forced to start up a business of her own. Right now, she's screening this from her Airbnb. She's in the Airbnb's business, not because she was there to make money, but to actually skill herself and understand this whole journey of, if I'm an entrepreneur, what do I go through? So she's in a school of understanding more. And please, this is Kalango for her. Anyone with who needs Airbnb solutions, please go to her. That is one of the of her apartments that she rents out in dollars. But it has taken her to a point of, I need to first get into this. I know of people who have gotten into treasury bills, treasury bonds. Before they start talking about them, you got to understand them in Bank of Uganda. But now, first do them. So there's a lot of opportunity. And when you get to do these things, you'll actually see that there's so many people who need an hour to just understand, how do I put this together, that together? How do I actually purchase a treasury bill and bond? And with that, when we keep doing this consistently, we will reach a point where we are charging a fee, a professional fee. So most of us are already, John is already doing that. Esther is already doing that. Daniel is already doing that. There's a professional fee. Any trainer who comes to me at NSSF, as long as I'm still in charge of the Financial Literacy Association, financial literacy section, will deliver a service to me at a minimum fee. There is a minimum standard. We do not pay 150. We pay a minimum of 500 for you to deliver. So the minute we can we can ascertain that you are a financial literacy, and we need quite a number. Aisha will tell you that we want to go all over the country. Last time I posted, I needed people in Morocco, I needed people. We want to be there. So their opportunities are immense, not just at NSSF, but everywhere. Bank of Uganda, the working group, we are just discussing, how do we get into refugees? How do we get in there? All that requires human resource. So there is enormous opportunity. But I also need you to understand that this opportunity should be filled with skill. But as we were even thinking about skill, I need you to understand that Benoni is also thinking of technology. So what is that part of this particular industry are you going to do that does not need a robot? I am training a robot right now through Benoni, which speaks more than 100 languages. So what is it that I can do beyond what the robot can't do? That's where my occupation is. And that's why my obsession is with behavioral finance, because the robot can get all this, but it may not have a face-to-face and understand that this person is telling me about their salary, but they're telling it to me from a place of pain. They can't read those emotions so far. Probably later on they will, but so far they can't. I'm getting into that place where I have one-on-one conversations, relationship building, one-on-one conversations where you can sit with me and actually I take you, it is okay. It's not okay that I'm doing badly, but I'm going to get better. I'm not going to sell you hope, but I will decipher your situation and we go through, look at it. By the time you leave, you know how badly you are doing. You're actually doing worse than what you came in, but then you also leave with a bit that I have a solution that we can do this. So there is quite a big, enormous opportunity, and you can keep, but this opportunity is going to be harnessed by people who keep carving out for themselves. Now I need you to understand, right now Bank of Uganda has just concluded today a training in Morocco for another probably 50 trainers. So we are probably now another 2,800 trainers. But of those 200, there is these 15 that are on this call. Of these 15, what can I do? You call me headmaster because I've carved something for myself. What can I call you? What can I call you, David? What can I call you, Maria? What can I call you, Edgar's? I don't want to call you Centenary. I don't want to call you, I want to call you something. I know when you speak of Luyonjo, my head gets to personal finance, it gets to accounting. So anything to do with accounting and now personalizing it and bringing it to person, I know there is a Luyonjo. So, but I also know I can build a chatbot that can beat Luyonjo in this accounting. So what does he need to do? What can he carve out for himself that I will not give to a chatbot, but look for Luyonjo as the person? So for me, that's where the opportunity is, and it is enormous, and you can actually get paid. Let me say this one thing before I go. When I was at Stanley, I used to do this. I told you I used to do it as a tool to bring in sales. But I actually got my first gig where one NGO in Masaka asked me to do trainings. And these trainings, which I was doing on top of my job to get people to sign up, they said, no, you come, we shall pay you. And for the next 2 days, I did trainings, which got paid over 5 million shillings. And that is about what, about 10 years ago. And this money came to my account. So there's quite a lot you can do, but you need to actually carve yourself out carve yourself out of the masses. And don't worry about the masses. Don't just worry about yourself. Back to you, Aisha.
Wow, thank you, Apollo. Ladies and gentlemen, the conversation is still going on. We have 30 more minutes left, and I'm winding down on my Q&A with Apollo. Prepare your questions. You'll be able to raise your hand, and I'll unmute you to speak, or you can type in the chat. Apollo, if I'm to summarize what you just said, because from where you sit, you confirm to us that the opportunities are coming and they're actually there, but you've put emphasis on that behavior of the financial literacy trainers, the skilling, but also you've advised that we need to carve out and specialize in something so that when they speak of a name, something comes up. If they speak of, for example, David, it should be something that comes up, maybe personal finance, because in our training, they give us a whole holistic financial education content agenda. But as trainers, like you've emphasized, it's good that you can't be good at debt management, at loans, at investment. So I think carving out, as you've emphasized, is quite crucial for us. And thank you very much. So as the members on the call prepare their questions, Apollo, I would like to take this conversation down by just asking you about between me and you plus the other trainers. Even when we traveled for the conference we went to together, Apollo, we realized that globally there's a challenge with measuring impact, yeah, with financial education, because you will speak to people, but you don't know if they are changing or they are transforming or they are making better decisions. From your role currently, how do you define success in your role? For your role and for the national FL program at large, how would you define success? Like when we do the work you do or we do the work we do, how can a trainer say I was successful at this training that people transformed? How can we measure success? Or how are you doing it to measure that the role is actually adding value? And on top of that, Apollo, from where you sit, are you mentoring people? And if there are opportunities for mentoring trainers, are you open for that? And if there are other channels you can point us to as trainers, is there a channel or an opportunity for us to meet you or to have you mentoring us as someone who is already having influence in the space? As the members organize their questions, Apollo.
Okay. Measurement the measurement of impact of, and I think you've asked this because remember when you were in Costa Rica, it is even Rome, even Paris, even all USA, they all had the same thing. And I know why they had difficulty measuring this impact, because you are dealing with the thing that is called personal finance. And ladies and gentlemen, I allow just don't even
Apollo network, we are losing you.
feel belittled if I say you are dealing with personal finance, because you need to. How is it right now? Aisha, just let
Yeah,
me know that it
it
is
seems
okay.
much better. You please proceed.
Yes, I was just saying that as FL practitioners, financially trusted educators, and I think one of these days, Daniel, we just need to sit down and agree on exactly what to call ourselves. We need to appreciate that we are operating under personal finance. Institutional finance is already taken. There is a CPA who's supposed to look at anything which involves personal finance becomes personal, becomes quite subjective. And when it comes to measurement, no person will, at least in Uganda, will come and do this. No, they are happy to tell people that they were the brilliant ones, and that's how they got to do the things they did. So when it comes to measurement of your impact, you may not get the full results, but that doesn't mean that it shouldn't be measured. For me, I would then I then flip the coin and say, let me measure myself on delivery. Let me not measure myself on the outcome, the result of the other person, because yours is to do to deliver advice. Action is basically solely based on them. But we get into the behavioral aspect so that we can also say, can I influence
Apollo, we are losing you again.
their behavior? So for
Apollo,
me,
the
how I
network.
now measure success, I usually measure it on the consistency of the person delivering these trainings, how consistent. That's why, for me, the round tables are. And now, kindly advise.
It's kind of shaky. Please proceed. I'll let you know.
Okay.
That's much
But I
better.
have a suspicion it is your network.
Apollo, it's not clear. It's not very clear right now.
Not mine. Someone else tell me if they can't hear me, because I
Yes, Apollo,
Not
you're
clear,
breaking.
Apollo. You're not clear.
think my network
Mm.
is
Yes, as Apollo gets back on the call, kindly text your questions so that we can go over them before 8:30. And Benoni, thank you so much for staying with us. If you also have any questions regarding technology and how it can support to advance our training efforts, Benoni is still on the call, who is our Chief Technology Officer. He'll be able to give us highlights or guidance on how technology can support our efforts to spread financial literacy among the masses. Mr. Headmaster, are you back on the call? He's trying to join back. Yes, I've received a few comments in my inbox regarding the session, and I'll be able to share them from some of the members on the call. Please feel free to share yours in my inbox, on my WhatsApp, if you have my number, if you're not able to type or if you're not able to unmute, so that we can maximize our time here together. Yes, Daniel, if you're on the call, if you're to speak to what Apollo was sharing, Daniel is our chairman for the Financial Literacy Association, and he's done a lot of work in organizing us as trainers. Daniel, do you have any insights to share regarding how impact can be better measured and how mentoring of other trainers can be something that we can enroll or onboard to see that we get better? As Apollo mentioned, the opportunities are becoming more and more, and we need to fine tune ourselves to be ready for these opportunities.
Thank you very much, Anita.
Aisha.
This is an extremely important aspect. To make it plainly clear, what we are trying to do is to create a real respected profession in our market, a profession of financial literacy. Personal financial advisors. They could even go ahead and become business advisors, which we do not have here, apart from the lucky few of you that have gone to South Africa and attended this. Now, Aisha, from the last conversation you remember we had on how to bring this certificate back here, I still insist, if these guys say we take longer, if they still say they are giving us a longer period, there's no reason why we shouldn't go ahead and create mentorship programs, because we have the capacity. I'm glad you've introduced people here that had not met before, who are actually specialists in different areas. With the advent of technology, there is no reason why we cannot create content that speaks to our market and that becomes relevant to the challenges that our people are facing, and where the gaps are missing. We fill those gaps with that knowledge. So this is why the association is very intentional on the Institute of Financial Literacy and Business Development Business Development Services, a one-stop place where we have content for specific areas. You actually have people who can specialize, like Apollo mentioned. There's a base content for everyone to go through. Then people can go ahead and specialize for the different segments. Someone could be a specialist in working with young people. Someone could be a specialist in working with people who are towards pension days. Someone could work with middle-level management. There's a lot of opportunity with executives. I keep getting requests of, do you guys have an executive program? Because CEOs don't want to sit in the same room with the interns to go through the same content. It's in a way, for some of them, it's even disrespectful to be in the same class, learning the same thing. So these are things that we know, and these are things that we can actually break down and formalize and actually create the content. So we do have so many people who are doing financial literacy, very good in different segments, but we just need that one-stop place, and that's what the institution is going to do. So it is very important that, yes, we specialize, we market ourselves, we brand ourselves, but that has got to be under an umbrella. And I think this is the opportunity that the institution provides. We do have these things we've been trying to do, put financial literacy under the education system, primary, secondary, high school, still to not be sufficient. The challenges we have today need a radical approach for us to be able to transform our society from the subsistence attitude to a really global market monetary attitude. And that's where the institute is supposed to come. So as the Financial Literacy Association, this is going to be very important for sustainability. We develop professionals, just like you see auditors, just like you see lawyers, and these guys should be marketed and paid for. Like you have said, there are people who have billions of money and they're looking for how to plan for it. There are people who are heavily indebted but can come out of that debt and be aware of, but they need someone who is a professional in that area, and the association should be a one-stop place for that. So I think we do have a big opportunity as the association, but this is going to take some mindset shift from the policy and our bosses and the people who make the decisions, for us to become independent minded. As that's why we even have trainers who are still looking for send me somewhere and you get me paid, instead of someone thinking how can I position myself and get paid. The other day we brought Victoria Nyanzi to help us, train guys on how they can position themselves. But still, when you have a conversation like this and only 12 people attend out of 2,000, you still see that there's actually more need to start with the trainers themselves. And that's what the institute should do. That's what that association, we as the association should do, because attitude actually should start at leadership level. So that is for me what I see, and we have that opportunity. And we have the opportunity of also growing consultants. Apollo said we need to get a name for financial literacy trainers, and I agree, because most people think financial literacy trainer, you're like, many of them will think you're one of these community-based individuals who just go train on how to do PDM or on how to agriculture, which is not a bad thing, but it should be a respected profession where actually, if you go in the market and you say I want 1 million per hour, someone should whoever you're training should be able to pay for that. If people can afford to go for Sheba and Chameleon and they pay 300,000, why is it a problem that they cannot pay for this information that will help them? And that is going to be a very serious task on our side as the leaders in this space. It is so virgin. Kenya is waiting. Tanzania is waiting. The other day we had Burundi at our office coming to benchmark, and we talked for like forever. And so if we can fast track this together as an association, we'll be able to negotiate the future for the association, but most importantly for the profession of financial literacy. So for me, that's my take, and I thank you for these conversations. Maybe next time we'll probably have to go in inbox and just tell guys, can you just attend? Because the attitude of the trainers is, for them, they are waiting. Where is the opportunity? How am I getting paid? And it's going to be a challenge with that attitude. But thank you, and that's my submission, Aisha.
Thank you so much, Chairman, Uganda Financial Literacy Association, Daniel, for the insights you shared. I see Apollo is back on the call. Apollo, we were still talking about you doing mentorship and impact. I think we've covered. And how are you supporting trainers, you who's already has carved out that space? I know that you're hand-holding very many trainers. I am part of the people privileged to be handheld. But please tell us more about how you're pulling up other trainers, and if you're open to mentorship and any other pointers you can give us in that direction.
Thank
We
you.
have
Thank you.
questions in the chat, Apollo. If we can also go right into them, we shall be able to close by 8:30.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I think for me, that I have, one of the things I'm doing this year is to just stop being random and everything. And one of the, we just need to get to that space of formalizing certain things. So someone will say, I want to be mentored. I want to be mentored. And for me, my beginning point is go register your membership with WUFLA, because I sit in an association where I'm the vice chairperson. Do you want me to start? I don't want to start another cult that now these are Apollo followings. Let's. So I tell them go, and then for me the next part of mentorship is, are you actually attending these particular? We are having this is a free platform. Are we attending these things? Out of 4, we have done 4. I think Aisha is going to be running a poll and we shall distribute it there. Out of the 4 we have had, how many have you attended? Because you need mentorship, but where do we get you? Because the place where you will get a Kasirie, a place where you will get a Muganze, a place where you'll get a Daniel, a place where you'll get a Luyonjo, is at these places. These people do not have the time to actually go look for you and just sit with you one-on-one and do that. So for me, I am more in putting up spaces where this can happen other than just being available for one-on-ones. I have made that availability, not that I'm being proud, but there are quite a number of things you can probably first use before we get to have that conversations as a one-on-one. So for me, I am going to strengthen and I will continue supporting strengthening the system of learning through the channels and putting it equally for everyone. And this speaks to a bit of Mr. Luyonjo here is saying that information for Bank of Uganda and Esther is growing is scanty. Yes, it is scanty. Unfortunately, they are Bank of Uganda. We can't do so much about them. But one of the things we are asking Daniel here is, can WUFLA take over some of these things? Because BOU has to do it off their budget. For us, we are of the view that if you want to be certified in this bit, you're actually willing to pay for this certification. So it's okay. Let's conduct, and people will be willing, and they will even value it more. Instead of you taking it to Moroto and then looking for local people, come and we certify you, yet Luyonjo is wants to be a master trainer and is willing to put a price to it. So we have put our request to them. They haven't given us feedback, but we hope we shall definitely get that. We request some of the feedback for FL trainings we do, and I think that is if you're meaning NSSF, then I need to blame Aisha if she's not giving you feedback, because for us we rate everything and we need to be sharing with you that. Definitely. Ugandans are known to be wanting free services. Do you guys actually see an opportunity to charge in the space of personal finance management, except for such institutions as NSSF? Yes, there is an opportunity. I'll just pick this from Mugenzi. She was hosted last year, and she's picking up bills. Her cost is $300 per hour, and she's unapologetic about it, and she's comfortable with her clientele. I mean, there are people willing to pay, and sometimes there are those who will not access your service because it's free. Newton Butera, his hour is 500,000 to have a one-on-one with him. He's 500,000, and he has been doing this consistently. He started with 50,000. I remember 6 years ago, we were with him as NSSF. He was charging 50,000, then he went to 100, went to 300. Now he's at 500,000. And there are people who actually access his services. So I think it's just a matter of carving yourself out. Not everyone is meant to actually access this service. Actually, the more we give it for free, we've been challenged as NSSF. The more you give this service out for free, the less people take it take it seriously because they are receiving it for free. So we've been asked to rethink. And I agree, yes, we could have the budget to spend on it, but can we actually create opportunities for people to spend? And for me, that's why when someone is charging an activity, we're actually happy to go behind them and let's talk to the people who are serious. If you've put your 10,000, you will make sure it is worth it. I can tell you, Stephen, yes, there is a clientele out there that will pay. And to put it in context, if we are going to professionalize this, you do not need 1,000 clients. You need 100 paying clients. 100 paying clients. That's because you are going to be doing a one-on-one capacity to manage 1,000 clients. You can only stretch yourself over 100 clients. So what are you going now? You start seeing over 100 clients. What do I need from them? Do I need 100,000 every month? Do I need $1 million? You pace yourself as you. Do I need $1 million? And then work with that. Work towards. Is it going to be easy? No. You may probably run it for a whole 1 year without getting a single client. Maybe that even the client you get will not pay. But eventually when it sets, that thing that they will actually be able to pay. Allow me to just run to one. You're right, Daniel. I worry that some financial literacy are only career trainers. Yes, and for me, I received a call from what's her name? The manicure, Barbara. And she was telling me, she said, Apollo, I've seen you training, I've been following you, and she's a person I actually follow. And she put me in a spot and said, I need you to show me what you have as substance. You yourself, how have you prepared for your own retirement? She put me in that conversation. It was uncomfortable, but I felt nice. At the end of it, I felt it was a nice thing for me to be held accountable. Otherwise, you can end your whole thing being a talker and you're not doing anything. She actually opened my head to seeing different things in a different light. Maybe I'm doing certain things and I'm not actually doing something about myself. So for me, let's also, before you even go out there, start looking at yourself. I'm not saying you're going to be as wealthy as the person you're advising, but you need to be aware of where you are. Definitely, you definitely need to have that particular conversation with yourself. But I am absolutely convinced, even with all this AI and all these tools that we are building for ourselves, there is an opportunity. I myself, I think by end of this year, I should be starting my Master of Science in Personal Finance Planning. I'm starting it, and there is a reason why I'm starting it. It's because I see a future. I have my accredited behavioral finance planner. I'm doing another one in psychology. I am doing CTA. Hey, Mr. Luyonjo, I am coming into accounting, and it's a whole story around it. I am CTA because tax is. But for me, my bit is, how do we even bring in personal tax planning? And I'm going in there, and with my age and my, like, all the things I need to do, if I am dedicating my life to doing some of these things, I see a future somewhere. I don't see myself at NSSF all my life up to 60. I need an exit plan, and my exit plan is in personal finance planning. So there is a plan, and I as I told you, I see a list of billionaires. I think in Uganda at NSSF we have about 40, no, of the 40,000 people above a certain amount, we have about 900 people with a balance of billion and above. So I know, and these guys will need, it's not even 900, it's about 300 people. These guys, if I can have 10% of them at a certain point, we are having conversations. These are those that can actually make my life a comfortable retirement. So it's not going to be easy, but we need to do this. That's for me why one of the reasons I am with this association is I need to face this burden with a number of people. So I am calling you upon to just come in and we face this burden together, because I know there is definitely a future. And if you do it alone, you won't definitely go far. But if we do it together, there is a future. The CFAs have carved themselves up, and CFAs is about what? About 15 years old. But no CFA commands less than 30 million in Uganda. Yet they have just started. It's 15 years old. They have gone over and above the accountants who used to occupy this space. The CFAs, with and without regulations, they are commanding that. So it's a journey. We may not even be the ones to benefit from it. The ones who after us may benefit, but there is definitely a journey. Allow me to just hand back to you, Aisha. You are muted.
Thank you so much, Headmaster, for the insights you shared. We don't take your time for granted. We know that your calendar is always booked out throughout the year. I can attest to that. For those who joined in late, the recording will be available Anybody else who has a question, I would like to hear from someone who is in the crowd. But so far, we started off by humanizing Apollo, because some of us, from the lens in which we see Apollo, we see him as superhuman, but he tried to demystify some of our thoughts about him. We've spoken about visibility as trainers. We've spoken about impact, the role of technology in our trade, but also skilling and training. Apollo has been big on skilling and training, and from what he has shared of the things he's partaking to skill himself, you can see that the sky is no longer the limit for him, and we should emulate his journey, or even carve out a journey that speaks in that direction of skilling for ourselves. Yeah, so is anybody else ready to ask a question? We have 1 minute. Apollo, as you prepare your parting words to the trainers. Hold on. Yes, Daniel, your hand is up. You can unmute.
Well, mine is not a question. It is just an appeal. I see a lot of great resource on this conversation. Please, Apollo, have these people join the association. We need leadership. We are running a very ambitious program, the Project Take Ufula Home, where we are trying to have trainers who live and reside in the different localities, different districts, such that we're able to not only customize, but we're also able to gather the right content to see how we measure impact. And we cannot do it alone with the small team that we have. We have the numbers in terms of the trainers who are willing to be there. What we need is some level of leadership to see that we can lobby and have this idea come to fruition. And for me, really, I would be happy to have everyone here from the technical side, from the specialty side that have been described. We have mentorship programs we are developing for the different groups: youth, women, civil servants, even politicians. So there's a lot to be done, and we need as much resource as possible. So for me, my appeal is to have everyone here on board so that we can walk this journey together. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Daniel. I see another hand up. I think that was. I think there are no other questions. We are right on time. We continue the discussion on our platform. If you're not on the WhatsApp group of the trainers and even the non-trainers, the ones who we have put on the side who we are mentoring to become trainers, but also to subscribe to be part of this association of financial literacy trainers, we pay a subscription of 100,000. Edgars, you have a question? Just a minute. We pay 100,000, and Edgars, I think you can speak more to this because you're the one in charge of these collections. Please unmute and ask your question, Edgar.
Okay, thank you so much.
Edgars, we can't hear you. Edgars, it seems we've lost you. Maybe network issues. Is there any other question so that we may be able to take it up? We lost some time of our conversation due to network. So if you can allow that, I extend by another 5 minutes to allow for members to share their thoughts, as this discussion is about us. So it's quite imperative that we engage deeply. Caroline, I'm so happy to see you on the call. Caroline is a financial coach that I know from somewhere. Caroline, do you have anything to tell us this evening as Apollo prepares his parting words to the trainers?
Sorry, Aisha, I actually logged on late. I am out of the country, and the time actually got messed up. So I just came in as you're closing.
Okay. Thank you, Caroline. I know Caroline from Evolving Woman. Yeah, so it's a mentorship group that we belong to together, where we support women to be their best selves. So Caroline, I'm so happy, and the rest of the members, the 12 of you, and it was about 19 of us on the call. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation this evening. Apollo, please share with us your parting words, and we shall bring this conversation to a close. I remain your host, Aisha Nakanwaji, and I hope to see you again in the last Friday of July. come next month. At same time, we shall communicate the other details on the platforms. Thank you. Apollo?
Thank you, Aisha. For me, the quorum is always where two or three gather. We do not need the entire world to change a few things. We need to change ourselves. So if we can command ourselves, for me, 12, good enough, an effort. Allow me to just extend my invitation to Esther, invitation to Luyonja. I don't think I've seen your membership in UFLA. Please come in, because we need to have to change this from within the house, not from leaning in. I believe, and I strongly believe, that there is an opportunity in this field. There's an opportunity in this industry, and it becomes better for people who already have a backing of professional training elsewhere. So, ladies and gentlemen, I call upon you. Let's keep skilling. Let's keep learning. Let's keep inquisitive. But above all, let's watch our behavior. Let's be aware of who we are, and then articulate where we want to be and stay that course. Thank you so much, Aisha, for everyone else who has decided to spend the evening with us. Thank you very, very much, and have a great night.
Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank you. Have a nice evening.